Hi friends, this is Vijay, and this is going to be an in-depth analysis of the auction and how SRH did, and the things they could have done better, the things they actually did better compared to the previous squads, the starting 11, and the main strategy the franchise went with. Along with that, I'm also gonna give a brief preview of how they're going to perform this IPL season, and also rate them compared to the other IPL teams in this franchise. So without further ado, I'm going to start with the strategy they went with. It was I think out of all the teams, out of all the 10 franchises, the easiest strategy that can be predicted was of SRH. The way they went for Indians on the first day and they did not go for any foreigners. So we retained Kane Williamson, and the only foreigner that we went on the first day was Nicholas Puran, and we went for a massive 10.75. I'm not saying that's high or low, but I'm saying that's a strategy they went with. They prioritize flexibility. Previous few seasons, it was blatantly obvious that we we did not have flexibility in our team, so we had to accommodate a wicket keeper because Riddhiman Saha wasn't a great batsman. We had to accommodate Johnny Bairstow because he's a foreigner, and we were already heavily reliant on foreigners. So overall, this auction, it has addressed that issue that we are going to go for Indians, and foreigners will only be used as fillers, gap fillers. So first day we went for all the Indians that we could, and we made a team out of that. And the second day we went for foreigners to fill the gaps that were vacant from the first day. The second auction strategy was they wanted a good wicket keeper. They make no bones about it. SRH struggled the most without a wicket keeper. In the last 4 years, the team that struggled the most because of a lack of a good wicket keeper is SRH, and and it's not that Bairstow was bad. It's because Bairstow was a foreigner, and we were heavily reliant on foreigners already, considering we did not have an all-rounder, or at least a proven all-rounder. So because of which, it was really difficult for us to play Bairstow every match, considering we were all heavily reliant on Warner and Williamson, and Rashid was undroppable. So this time around, we made sure that we were not going to compromise on the wicket keeper, and that's the reason we bid heavily for 10.15. Out of all the teams you see in the auction, there are probably 6 or 7 wicket keepers that you could say maybe 5 wicket keepers, yeah, that would make the starting 11 of any team, and SRH was sure that they were going to get one of them. So that's why they bid pretty aggressively for Ishan Kishan. We went for 15 crores, but we still couldn't get his services, and that's the reason the contingency plan was Nicholas Puran. And Nicholas Puran, I could safely say, is one of the best wicket-keeping batsmen in the world, and we don't have to worry about accommodating him because he gets into the starting 11 of any franchise. And because of Nicholas Puran, we also have the luxury of playing a foreign all-rounder, and because of which there's less reliance on the Indian all-rounders, so there are no makeshift players, and that's the reason Nicholas Puran is a necessity, and SRH was sure that they were going to get a very good wicket-keeping batsman, and that was the next thing. The third point I'm going to talk about is they valued middle order players more than openers. You can see on the first day we did not go for any outright openers, and maybe you look at the marquee set, we did not bid for any one of them. There was Shikhar Dhawan, David Warner, Quinton de Kock. For one reason or the other, despite Quinton de Kock being a better batsman than Nicholas Puran, maybe we did not bid for Quinton de Kock. The only reason I can think of is SRH wanted to prioritize middle order. They have players. I think scoring in the middle order from the get-go is a is a more difficult skill compared to opening in a power play and getting used to it. So I think that's what SRH prioritized. They prioritized the middle order this time, and that's the reason they did not go for any openers. So after the first day, it was blatantly obvious that there were abundance of foreign openers, and that is the reason I think SI did not bother about not having any opener on day one. So I think that's a good strategy. Even I value the run scored by middle order more than openers. So I think it was clear, and because of the weak middle order, which we have endured for past few seasons, it was obvious that we're going to target middle order. So those were the key strategies. So with all the strategies in mind, how did SRH perform in this auction, and what was the starting 11? As you can see, the starting 11 is little difficult to predict. But once you put Abhishek Sharma as an opener, as Muttiah Muralidharan sir confirmed, it's obvious that then the pieces add up. Okay, Abhishek Sharma, he opens, then comes Kane Williamson. Then you can get Rahul Tripathi, who had an amazing season with Kolkata. And then Aiden Markram, number 4 is where he plays for South Africa, and has been pretty good. And next we have Nicholas Pooran, and Nicholas Pooran, I think number 5 is a bit too low for him, but I guess that's as high as he can get with the squad we have right now. Then we have Abdul Samad, who we retained, Romario Shepherd, and then Washington Sundar. Washington Sundar, maybe he was picked for role of an all-rounder, but I do not trust his batting skills. But if you have someone who can bat, but makes 11 solely based on his primary skill, which is bowling, then it's a good option to have. Then we have to play 3 Indian seamers, or on a spinning track we play another spinner, someone like Shreyas Gopal. But usually we're probably going to go for Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, Natarajan, and one of Umran Malik, or Karthik Tyagi, or Shreyas Gopal, depending on the circumstances. So how is this starting 11? I'd say it's pretty good. It's pretty balanced. There are no players who are outright complete reliable players who are gonna give you or a bowler who's going to bowl 4 overs and not concede more than 20, like a Rashid Khan, or a bat and score 500 runs like David Warner did consistently. But this team is pretty balanced. We always had problems with the support cast apart from the core of the team, and this time I think the support cast is pretty good. Now, this is a small, as a minor analysis, you see, the lowest cost player in SRH starting 11 is 4 crores. I hope you got that. The lowest cost of a player that from our team, which we purchased or retained, is 4 crores. Now you compare this with other teams, and I can tell you the lowest cost of SRH is highest amongst all teams. So the lowest cost of our players is Urman Malik, which we retained for 4 crores, and no other team starting 11 can be created with team full with players above 4 crores. So in that sense, you can say that even the lowest cost player of SRH is a costly buy. So this shows the all-roundedness of the team. I guess it's well-rounded, maybe money well spent, but overall you can say that there are very, very few weaknesses, or any obvious weaknesses. There are weaknesses obviously, but no blatantly obvious weakness like from the previous squads. Another thing is we are probably the only team apart from Rajasthan where the lowest cost player from the starting 11 is a foreigner. It's Aiden Markram for us for 2.6 crores, and the only other team is Rajasthan Royals, where let me tell you who the player is. Jimmy Neesham for 1.5 crores. So he's the lowest cost player. So it's obvious that we have targeted Indians and probably we have successfully targeted Indians this time around. So only time will tell because there's a lot of unproven commodities in the team. But the ceiling is pretty high for this team. So yeah. So I'm going to talk about what they did well in this auction compared what they improved from the previous squads. The one thing I could say that they improved from the previous squads is I'd say the flexibility of the squad. Now before the auction, I wanted two players, or rather two kind of players. I wanted an Indian wicketkeeper, an Indian all-rounder. Now it's not an all-rounder that who does a bit of both. I wanted the all-rounder who can make the team in at least if he doesn't bat, I still want him to make the team. So that kind of all-rounder. So we kind of figured out that a fast bowling all-rounder, it's really difficult to get. I don't think there were any fast bowling all-rounders. So I was okay with and wicketkeeper. I desperately wanted Ishan Kishan because we wanted that flexibility. But 15 crores. I honestly felt we should have bid more. We should have bid till 16 plus. But okay, the contingency plan of getting Nicholas Puran is still worked well. Now, because we did not get any of those, you look at we did not get. We have to fill foreigners in those categories. It made us look back and think that okay, the overall the Indians in the other departments, they can make the team. Now you look at Washington Sundar at number 8, or Rahul Tripathi or Abdul Samad. You see these players. These players have a defined roles in the team. So it's not like last year where we were playing Vijay Shankar and we were not sure if he was in the team for batting or bowling or both. But right now we have defined roles. Now we have Washington Sundar who will make the starting 11 even if he does not bat. Now we have an Abdul Samad or an Abhishek Sharma who will make the starting 11 even if they do not bowl. And I'm saying this despite Abhishek Sharma having a brilliant season even with the ball. He was good with the bat as well, the Syed Mustaq Ali Trophy, but he was good even with the ball. So that's why, because with the signings of Marco Jansen and Romario Shepherd and even Sean Abbott, 3 fast bowling all-rounders, and we got to play one of them. And because the Indians have defined roles, we have the freedom to play one of the fast bowling all-rounder and a Nicholas Puran, a foreign wicketkeeper, and a brilliant batsman. So in that terms, I can say that team is pretty flexible. We can now let's say a bowler is injured, we could probably play Marco Jansen and compromise on Aiden Markram and play an Indian batsman there in the opener slot. Or things like that, and Jansen adds another dimension to the team. So there are plenty of options right now, but it comes at a cost that we do not have a solid core. So, but the support cast is doing well. So overall, I think the balance of the team is right, or at least more right than various other teams. I see all the franchises and I've analyzed their teams, and it's safe to say that SRH is probably one of the most well-rounded teams. So yeah, that is one major thing that they did well. And also in the previous seasons, you could see it was really difficult for us to accommodate Johnny Bairstow and Warner and Kane Williamson. And we had to drop one of them and play an all-rounder because we did not have an Indian all-rounder. Now all the Indians have a fixed defined roles, and we have the freedom to play a fast bowling all-rounder and a foreign wicket-keeper, while the Indians do the rest of the work. So overall, I would definitely say SRH have increased the flexibility of the team, which was pretty rigid and pretty annoying and extremely frustrating for us to watch. because the support cast just did not put their hand up in for last few years. But the only reason we did well was because we had a pretty good support cast. So apart from flexibility, I'd say we got an in-form Indian batsman, Rahul Tripathi. There weren't many Indian batsmen available in the auction, or proven Indian batsmen rather available in the auction. We had Devdutt Padikkal or Nitesh Rana, Ishan Kishan, and though wicketkeeper batsman primarily. So we did not have, or Shikhar Dhawan. The only player, and you can see all of them, went for a good price, around 8 crores on an average or even more. Now, Rahul Tripathi is one of the 5 Indian batsmen in the auction that we definitely could have got. He scored around 400 runs and with a strike rate of over 140, and only 2 players who have scored more than him have had a higher strike rate. One is Prithvi Shaw and another is Glenn Maxwell. So it's obvious, the company is in, and the form, it's obvious that it becomes clear that he's in a rich vein of form and he had a great IPL. So, and we did not have an Indian batsman since we sold Shikhar Dhawan for that stupid deal, and we can say that, Rahul Tripathi is play him in the as an opener, top order or even lower order, middle order. He has done well, and I would say he's one of the most criminally underrated players in IPL. I told my friends that we should have bought Rahul Tripathi 2 years ago. I think in 2020, when we were already struggling because we did not have a batsman. But how Kolkata snapped a pump for less price and we did not even bid for him, it just goes beyond me. So yeah, Rahul Tripathi is a necessary signing, and I'm really happy with that. So yeah, that's another thing. So what's worse? I'll say the worst thing about the squad is lack of reliable players. Now the ceiling of this team, as I said, is pretty high. A Nicholas Pooran, an Aiden Markram, a Romario Shepherd, along with the likes of Natarajan, Bhuvi, and Rahul Tripathi. All these players are, good players, who would make the team would make any IPL starting 11. But the issue here is none of them are reliable. You cannot rely on one player and say, okay, this guy is going to give me 400 runs, or this guy is going to give me 20 wickets this season, or this guy is going to contain the team and not give more than 20 runs, or give me a couple of wickets every. So we are in that kind of situation. So where now Bhuvi is not the player he used to be. He's still pretty good, and I think 4 crores is a good deal we got for him. At the same time, Natarajan is coming back from an injury. Washington Sundar did not have a great IPL. Umran Malik did not have a great Syed Mustaq Ali trophy. I mean, he balls at the death, but his economy was around 9.5. So it's not great signs, but at the same time, you could say that the potential of this team is good, and we. There are bound to be hits and misses, and in every franchise. But so if we get more hits than not, then I think we might have a better season than initially predicted. So yeah, that's the other thing. And also we need to note that SRH team, after post the auction, has been called, SRH have been accused of having a terrible auction. Maybe they are right, but I'd say the ceiling is still pretty high for this team. So I cannot counter argue that we had a terrible auction. I can definitely say we did not have a terrible auction. I'd say the jury is still out. I'd say now Nicholas Puran at 11 crores was ridiculed as a flop signing, but you look at how Puran has played for India against India. Sorry, he scored 125 runs with a strike rate of 150 in across 2 matches. You look at Bhuvneshwar Kumar, how he has bowled. So these things, maybe are not being considered enough for SRH, and they're probably not getting the benefit of the doubt in that sense. So yeah, we lack the core players, which is the reason for all the review about SRH auction. But that said, I don't think it's a bad auction. I think we could have done better in some aspects, but overall, it's a smart and we have a balanced team. So yeah, next. What's worse is the second thing that is worse is the fast bowling. Now, SRH has always been the team which has been considered the best bowling team in IPL. We have made a brand and a benchmark. We have set the benchmark in IPL, for bowling standards. We had great Indian bowlers along with an amazing foreigner, be it Rashid Khan or Mustafizur before him, or Trent Bolt before him, or Dale Steyn before him. We had a gun fast bowler to help Bhuvneshwar Kumar. Then we had Natarajan now, and the previous years we had Siddharth Kaul perform one season, Sandeep Sharma do consistently, and Khalil Ahmed doing his bit. So we set the benchmark for bowling unit this IPL, and it's safe to say we have fallen way below that benchmark now, considering Bhuvneshwar Kumar is our lead bowler and he's not in great form. I mean, he did well against West Indies today. He won the game changer of the match. Natarajan is coming back from injury. Karthik Tyagi is coming back from an injury. Umran Malik did not have a great Syed Mustaq Ali trophy, and our fifth uncapped bowler, let me get his name, Saurabh Dubey, he did not have a great, he did not play Syed Mustaq Ali trophy, though he did play, he did have a good Vijay Hazare trophy in 2021. So, but still, there are players we cannot rely on, and a fourth fast bowling player will be one of the foreigners, Romario Shepherd, Marco Jansen, Sean Abbott. I do not trust Sean Abbott. I don't think he did not even have a good Big Bash, and Big Bash is not even a very competitive tournament. It's a low quality tournament where domestic players play. Marco Jansen is unproven commodity. I mean, his ceiling might be high, but he does not have a whole lot of T20 experience. I would not count on him one bit. The only player I would count on is Romario Shepherd, because he's a death bowler. He's doing reasonably okay for West Indies, even at death versus India. So yeah, we have to play Romario Shepherd, but that says, with zero IPL experience, so you can say that we have our fast bowling unit is not great, and way below where it used to be. So that said, it's safe to say that we should be really worried about our fast bowling unit. So yeah, and the last thing that I won't say what is worse. I think our top order has always been worse, apart from the core, obviously. But this time we have 5 very good players, batsmen, who play in the top 5. I mean, discounting Abhishek Sharma, okay, we have 4 very good players. That's Aiden Markram, Kane Williamson, Nicholas Puran, and Rahul Tripathi. We have 4 very good batsmen. Now, what happens if, and these 4 will play the top 5 in the top 5. So, what happens if Kane Williamson does not recover from his elbow injury? What happens if Aiden Markram, who has a series against Bangladesh during the IPL, is going to miss the first half of IPL? We are thin in that aspect. I know we have an Indian batsman, but we are really thin. The only top order batsman that I can think of is Priyam Garg, who had a horrendous Syed Mustaq Ali Trophy. So it's difficult to picture our starting 11 without any of these four. So Kane Williamson does not recover, or Aiden Markham does not come on time, or any other injury. We are literally, we are pretty screwed in that aspect. So it's safe to say that we should have bought a good a top order batsman, someone like, even uncapped, someone like Jitesh Sharma, who went for half a crore and had a brilliant Syed Mustaq Ali Trophy this time around. So I don't know why we did not go for enough top order batsmen. We did go for some lower order batsmen in Vishnu Vinod and Shashank Singh. So, but the need was always have a good top order. So we are, if one of these four does not turn up, we are definitely in a spot of bother. So that's I still look back at things. SRH should have at least had a good uncapped player in the squad at least. So yeah, that's another thing. So now I'll look back at what is. I'll discuss a little about Nicholas Pooran. A lot has been said about Nicholas Pooran not being a good signing, but as I said, Pooran is one of the very few wicket keepers in the auction available who would make the starting 11 of any team. Now let me list out the keepers that I think that would make the starting 11 of any team. I'd go with Bairstow, Quinton de Kock, Dinesh Karthik, Ishan Kishan, Nicholas Pooran, and maybe an Ambati Rayudu if he keeps, that is. So you look at these players and you see all these are good players, and none of them have been bought by the same franchise. So Bairstow has gone to Punjab, Quinton de Kock has gone to Lucknow, Dinesh Karthik has gone to RCB, Nicholas Pooran has gone to SRH, and Rayudu with CSK, and CSK already has Dhoni. So the team, and you add that to teams like Delhi, who retained wicketkeeper Rishabh Pant, Sanju Samson retained by Rajasthan Royals, and Dhoni retained by CSK. Now you see there are 3 teams that already have a wicketkeeper and 7 that did not. And out of the 7, these 5 gun players went to 5 different franchises. And the only 2 franchises that does not have a very good wicket is Kolkata Knight Riders and Gujarat Titans. And it will become blatantly obvious in the team selection how they try to accommodate a wicketkeeper who's not one of the top 6 best batsmen in the team. So in that sense, we can say that signing Nicholas Pooran was a really good signing in that sense. He could have, we should have got him for less, but I don't know why Kolkata bid for him till 10 crores when their wallet was already pretty thin by the time Nicholas Pooran's name came up in the auction. So I'd say Nicholas Pooran is a pretty good signing, and he's the only issue with Nicholas Pooran is he's going to play at number 5, and judging by the way he's playing for West Indies, it's obvious that he's a player who should be playing in 1 down or 2 down at most. 3 down might be at number 5 might be a little too low for him, because he shouldn't be categorized as a power hitter. He's more of a timer of a ball, and a very good timer of a ball. But we should not attach the West Indian power hitting associated with Nicholas Pooran, who is still a pure timer of the ball and easily the best West Indian player in the team right now. So Nicholas Pooran, a very good signing, and despite the price tag, it is necessary. And you'll see with the struggles that Kolkata and Gujarat Titans will have in accommodating a wicketkeeper who's not good enough to be in the starting 6, or a foreigner to be one of the undroppable foreigner. You'll see how difficult it will be for those 2 teams to strike the right balance in the upcoming auction. So considering that, I would say it's a good signing, and it's something that SRH definitely improved upon, because we were the team that really struggled without a wicketkeeper. Maybe to a lesser extent RCB, but we were the two teams who did not have a good wicketkeeper. Yeah. So I'm gonna analyze an overpriced player in the auction, and a steal. So I think overpriced, it's safe to say that we definitely overpaid for Abhishek Sharma. I don't know why we went for Abhishek Sharma at the price we did. 6.5 crores is a joke. We could have, there are plenty of all-rounders who went for much less. I'm gonna show you the list. The list, it becomes blatantly obvious that this was definitely wrong. We definitely missed a trick here. Now 6.5 crores, and this player is not even as good as Abdul Samad. Granted, he had a good Syed Mustaq Ali trophy, but we did not retain him. If we think he was good enough, we would have retained him for 4 crores, but no. When we know, it's because we knew that he was not worth 4 crores. When we knew he was not worth 4 crores, why did we go beyond 4 crores? And not just beyond 4 crores, go 60% above 4 crores. We bought him for 6.5, and I don't know why. You look at the players that went for less than Abhishek Sharma, his signing makes even less sense. You look at Deepak Hooda at 5.75 crores, Shivam Dubey at 4, our own Abdul Samad at 4, Ryan Parag, who's not in form, but he has definitely is more proven, Sai Kishore at 3, Rajwardhan, Hangarekar at 1.5, or Lalit Yadav. I put him in this list because he is a player I really rate pretty high, and he was bought for 0.65, higher than Abhishek Sharma. So, and Abhishek Sharma was bought for 10 times that money. So I just cannot see the sense in why we would even ponder buying him for 6.5 crores. I don't think. I definitely think the money should have been utilized better, or maybe even save some money, or buy someone like Devdutt Padikkal or Nitesh Rana, a proven batsman. Abhishek Sharma for 6.5 crores is it's staggering, and I cannot believe that we actually did. And coming to the absolute steal, I would say Aiden Markram. Aiden Markram, I cannot believe that we got him for 2.6 crores. After the first day of auction, and I was analyzing on where are the gaps, who are we going to target on day 2, and I was discussing with my brother, what is going to happen. I was predicting, and because we wanted to buy as many Indians as possible and fill the gaps with foreigners. So the two spots that were pretty obvious were an opener. We needed a foreign opener or a top order, and the other was a number 6 and a fast bowling all-rounder, most probably, because we had multiple spin bowling all-rounder options, but we desperately wanted a fast bowling all-rounder. So the two players that I was discussing with my brother was Aiden Markram and Liam Livingstone. And I woke up late here in US, and by the time I got notification that Liam Livingstone went for 11 crores or something, and to Punjab, and that is when I realized that Aiden Markram would be going in that range as well. And then I scroll, I see who SRH bought, and luckily Aiden Markram was bought by us, and I see the price, it was 2.6 crores, and I feel, wow, this is a really good signing, primarily because he is in great form. He is number 3 ranked T20 player in the world. He's a handy bowler, and he's number 9 ranked all-rounder in the world in T20s. So it's obvious that this signing was a crucial signing at the point we signed him. So I'd say Aiden Markram is definitely the steal of our auction. Yeah. So yeah, apart from that, I'd say that Aiden Markram has also had a really good T20 World Cup. The innings versus England in the final group stage comes up. His partnership with Rassie van der Dusen, he literally obliterated the bowling, and he was, and those one that was not power hitting. It was just timing the ball so good, and he's more than a handy bowler. So a brilliant signing, I would say 2.6. It's good signing. Let me read out a couple of stats. For South Africa, he has played 20 T20 matches at an average of 39 and 147 strike rate, and bowling 7.44 economy. So it's obvious that he's more than a handy bowler, and a very good batsman. The only issue, or the reason I can think why he might be less compared to, or significantly less compared to Liam Livingstone, is South Africa have a tour against Bangladesh. Sorry, they're hosting Bangladesh rather. And Aiden Markram is part of the test team, the one days and T20s for South Africa, obviously. But uh, can South Africa afford to not let Aiden Markram play IPL in the T20 World Cup year? I don't know. I don't think so. The one days will be done before the IPL start. Maybe if he can play the ODIs and fly to India to join the SRH squad, I think he can join SRH team from match day one. But if he plays the two test matches that will go on till April 12th, he's going to miss a huge chunk of IPL, and I don't think South Africa are in a position to let Aiden Markram not play IPL in a T20 year, considering Bangladesh are in terrible form and they don't need their number one playing team to play against Bangladesh. So in that sense, I'd say it is little dicey. But as I always already discussed that our top order without Aiden Markram or any one of the four players look really thin. So we should definitely be worried about if Aiden Markram is going to make it from day one or not. So yeah, apart from that, I'll just discuss some of the players that I wish that SRH bought. Number one is obviously David Warner. Irrespective of what people might say, we as a franchise should be ashamed of how we treated David Warner. He's our greatest hour player, and he has won us 2016 IPL, and we were a relatively new franchise. If I were to discuss about everything that Warner has done for us, this video is not enough. But I'll just say this, that we should be really embarrassed of the way we treated Warner. If you wanted to let him go or move past David Warner, there's a way you're going to do it. There are far worse players who are playing for the franchise and doing half what not even half of what David Warner has done for SRH, but those franchises still retain those players out of loyalty, and we show no loyalty, no class, and I'm just out of words at how we treated David Warner. But for everything David Warner has done, I really wanted him at SRH, just pure out of respect. But yeah, that's a whole different topic altogether. But I really would have loved to have David Warner in the squad. The second player is Yuzi Chahal. I can understand that because we already paid 8.5 crores for Washington Sundar, we couldn't have gone for Yuzvendra Chahal. But considering the fact that we do not have a reliable bowler, I think we should have gone all guns for Yuzi Chahal, especially at that price. Even if Yuzvendra Chahal was not part of our plans, a 6.5 crores bid, there's a certain amount you place on that player. You say, and if you can get him for less than that price, you should go for him. And in no world is Yuzvendra Chahal valued worth 6.5 crores. I think he's minimum 8 crore player. So I think we definitely missed a trick there. I can understand because we already had Washington Sundar, but we definitely missed a trick there. We should have bid for Yuzvendra Chahar, and it's probably the signing of IPL, in my opinion. The next player I would say is Jitendra Sharma. He had a brilliant Syed Mustaq Ali Trophy, and we are really thin at the top, and he would have been a good signing. I think Lucknow snapped him up for half a crore. So yeah, I'm really worried about our resources at top. So yeah, we probably should have gone for Jitendra Sharma. And Lalit Yadav, as I've already discussed, is a very exciting player, a player I rate the most. And he had another great season at Syed Mustaq Ali Trophy. He did well. As I said, I think he's better than Abhishek Sharma as a batsman. But yeah, Abhishek Sharma is a bowler. His bowler much better. So yeah, he's one player that I wish we had. Apart from that, Ishan Kishan. Before the auction, I was desperate. I was sure that we were going to have Ishan Kishan. Even on my Instagram, I posted Ishan Kishan. But on retrospective view is that Ishan Kishan we could have bought for 16 crores maybe, and that would mean Nicholas Poran or plus Abhishek Sharma. And the fact that we already have a gun wicket keeper in the form of Nicholas Poran, whose ceiling is obviously higher than Ishan Kishan, I could say that maybe in the short term Nicholas Poran might be a better value for money than Ishan Kishan. What the squad does is that in 3 years' time, when we have to retain a player, we will not have any player that we can retain, or at least unless one of these young guns flourish, I don't see any player who I think SRH could retain or will retain. And that is always a dangerous position to be in, because you see how Punjab or Rajasthan or have done. They do not have a solid core, and and that's why they do not do well. Delhi have been doing well because they have a really good core. They have Rishabh Pant, or they had Shreyas Iyer along with Prithvi Shaw and Akshar Patel. So they had a very strong Indian core, and they build the team around them. So in that sense, SRH in 3 years from time, when there will be in the next mega auction, I don't think we'll be able to retain even a single player. And because of that, it's a scary situation to be in unless one of these younger players flourish. And that is the reason I wanted Ishan Kishan, because I wanted an Indian core. I wanted a player that the team can build around, and also he's a wicket keeper. So that's the primary reason for me to want Ishan Kishan at SRH. But since we did not, I would say that we did well since we missed out on Ishan Kishan.